So in this video, I'm going to show you another tool that's at our disposal uh, for modeling flow on campus. So one of the data points that we have is, of course, the scheduled courses that we currently have in place for the fall semester. And what would be helpful for us, I believe, is to be able to look at, first of all, the schedule, figure out which buildings, which rooms in various buildings are scheduled at a given time, and then to take a building plan, use the simulator I showed you before to put people in those rooms, and then run the simulations, the egress simulations, ingress simulations. And so I want to show a little bit of this tool and how this works and how we want to use this. And so I developed a software system a little more than a year ago. I actually spent a couple of years kind of working with the student to develop this. And this is a tool that I use for scheduling, but it definitely is helpful in this context of being able to do this building modeling. All right, so the URL for this is techsched.csc.tentech.edu. You see that URL at the bottom of the screen as well as the browser bar here. And the way, and you have to use this on campus, or since we're not on campus, you have to use VPN to the campus so that you can access this software system because it is behind our firewall. Okay, so how to use this system? First of all, since we're interested in modeling buildings, we're not really interested in modeling departments specifically. So you're going to choose, actually, I think it's all for departments. And then you're going to select a building. And let's select, I want to select a good one. Let's do Johnson Hall, because certainly the College of Business has a lot of courses that run through there during the week. And I'm going to select, as an example, let's take a look at fall 2019. You'll notice here that I have this checkbox of display as heat map. Yes, we definitely want to view this as a heat map because that'll show us capacities of the rooms and in a relationship to the enrollment, so how many people are enrolled in a course in relationship to the fire code capacity for these rooms. Okay, go ahead and click on Show Schedule. And as I do that, I get this view of Johnson Hall. And so let me explain a little bit of what's here. I will note here that there's a scale button so that you can see more of the space. And there are scroll bars here that you can use to expand your view. Okay, so how do you interpret this? Across the top, these are the rooms in the various buildings, in this case, Johnson Hall. Along the left-hand side, these are the times of those rooms. And then, of course, in the view here, you have the various courses that are being run. If you mouse over one of these, it'll highlight other courses being taught by a specific person or whatever, and actually just brings whatever that class is into view. And then you can, of course, you can click on a course. It'll list the course. It'll list the room size. So here's the room capacity. It'll list the enrollments, who's teaching it, and the times that the classes are running. Now, for our purposes, of course, there are certain times where we're looking, especially here in Johnson Hall. You take the second floor of Johnson Hall, so Johnson 208 all the way to Johnson 220. So there are four rooms at this time that run from 1:30 to 2:50 on Monday that we're going to have to model, right? And they are full classes. So what we would want to do, of course, is take a look at the building layout, seed these classrooms as sources, and put in the number of people, 41 in this case, into that room, and then run the simulations. And so this view here, I think, is especially helpful for us when we're putting together the simulations, to be able to, first of all, see where are the trouble spots that we're going to have to deal with by looking at capacities of the rooms versus the enrollments in those rooms. And then we can do that across multiple days, right? So, maybe on Monday, in this transition period between 2:50 and 3 o'clock, these are the spaces we need to look at. But on Tuesday, on Tuesday, it's still, on Tuesday, not so much, right? Because those particular rooms, there's only these two, this room right here that's really full. The rest of these don't have as much enrollment. They're sort of in that green area, although, it's still a fairly large enrollment, but enrollment compared to the room size is still pretty comfortable. So anyway, this tool here, I think, is one of the things that we'll need to use to help us with, first of all, identifying where are the problem areas going to be. Now, I just ran this for fall 2019. Let me go ahead and run this for fall 2020. We'll do all, and the building is going to be, we'll go back to Johnson Hall. And we go ahead and click on show schedule. And so then let's see what this space looks like for the fall. Okay, so probably not as, I don't know, not as full. I mean, so remember those on the other one that there was a lot more enrollment. But I mean, in relationship to actually room size, that's a comfortable, that's why it's shaded green and heat map, but the room is still full. I mean, the class is still full. It's got 40 people in it. So we're still going to have to spend some time looking at each of these. I think it's probably more helpful, not even just to look at the capacities of the rooms, but also just looking at each of the floors, looking to see what courses are being offered at those times, and then spending the time to figure out, well, what do we want to model? Where are the congestion points for Johnson Hall? We've got a number of rooms on the 3rd floor of Johnson Hall that we'll have to take a look at, and so we'll want to marry that up with the building plans that we have, and then try to seed those with the number of people that are actually enrolled in these courses on Johnson 3rd floor. Run the simulations, see what happens when we vary things like means of ingress and egress and other things like that. So anyway, so again, this is hopefully another tool that we can use to help us with the work of this committee. I do think across those tools, those two tool sets, the simulator, Videri, Tech Sched, this tool here, I believe we'll get a pretty good sense of what we need to model, for what times we need to model them, and then also we'll be able to use this as a way of gathering gathering the data points. So anyway, that's Tech Sched. So hopefully you find this useful as well. There will be other tools, I think, that are going to be valuable for us. And so as a committee, as a team, hopefully you get hopefully you can use these tools to help you with your analysis.